Good morning, PT on Ice Daily Show. This appears to be really zoomed in, but we'll roll with it. And there's some stuff blowing in my face. But here we are in the mobile studio. My name's Alan. I'm the COO of Ice. And on Thursdays, we talk about personal development, organizational development, and business leadership. So today we're going to talk about developing and refining the message of your organization, your business, your clinic, your side hustle, whatever you've got going on. How to start a message if you don't have one yet, and if you have one, some tips to refine that message so it's a little bit more clear what you're trying to sell, to put out there. So when I think of this topic, I think of a scene from Office Space. If you've ever seen that movie where the guys come in looking to fire people, and they ask every single person that comes in, what is it you say that you do here? And I think that in physical therapy, but also kind of in healthcare in general, and in most businesses, the message of what a place of business, an organization does is often not clear. Physical therapy is really bad at this. The definition of physical therapy will change based on who you talk to, what clinic you go to, what state you're in. But not all businesses have that problem. Not all professions and disciplines have that problem. I think of Coca-Cola, which we know is diabetic poison in a bottle, but nonetheless, they have that clear message, and it's very simple. Ice cold Coca-Cola. You know what it tastes like. It's ice cold. It's got that crisp bite. Come and get it, right? My brain knows that it's terrible poison, but sometimes on a really hot day working out in the yard, a Coke sure sounds good, right? That message is loud and clear coming from Coke about what they're selling. And we don't often have that clarity and that simplicity with selling physical therapy as kind of a profession, as a discipline. Especially, if you look at physical therapy across social media, it seems to be just people arguing about what physical therapy isn't, with no one really kind of laying down what physical therapy is. And so we can't really rely on the profession as a whole, the professional organizations that we belong to as a whole, to carry this message for us. We need to do it individually, at the clinic, at the individual business level. And I think there's a problem, in healthcare in general with messaging. I know I see it in the clinic now. People are kind of turning against healthcare as a whole. Often people come in and they've had a terrible go of it with trying to get their problem solved. We've talked on here before about solving the original problem is kind of the root of helping people. But, people come in and they've tried 18 different things and nothing worked, and they just get passed around, and they kind of have a sour outlook on physical therapy and healthcare in general. And, I see that too in myself. I definitely wouldn't enter the American healthcare system unless absolutely necessary. I would only go see a provider at this point in my life if I was certain I was going to die. If I didn't, it seems like depending on your zip code, you might trip and fall and end up with a back fusion if you're not careful. So the message of what healthcare and what physical therapy can provide to people is not clear at all. And, as at the individual provider level, we deal with that kind of in the trenches. When that patient shows up in our clinic, we have to undo all of that terrible messaging or lack of messaging in general. And we see that, I think everyone that's watching this right now or listening to this on the podcast can relate to that person who comes in for initial evaluation and they say, I'm not sure how this will help. They may even say, my doctor said this wouldn't help. Or they might say, I have to do this, so my insurance company will pay for something that will help. So we have that messaging gone wrong on the front end to battle with. And the best way, the best defense is a good offense. So how can we develop a message for your organization, refine it, and make it simple and clear so that your potential customer, client, member, patient is able to get your message and get in to see you. So poor and conflicting messaging is bad for growth. It's really confusing, and at the individual practitioner level, it can affect your patient outcomes. I think of a recent incident this week where I spent, almost the whole eval talking to a patient about the relationship between nutrition and pain and inflammation and exercise and sleep, and how it's all connected, and how it's really important to, be healthy in all aspects of your life. And then when that patient went out to schedule more appointments, more visits, they walked past the break room where somebody was eating McDonald's. And, there's that confusing mismatch of message. And now I have to deal with that patient thinking, is Alan just full of shit? Did he just give me a whole bunch of crap about nutrition, and they just eat burgers here all day? And so now I have to do more work on the back end because of that conflicting message. So we want to avoid that. That's probably the worst possible outcome. Even worse than no message is a conflicting message that confuses your potential patient, member, client, customer. So four ways to do that. Keeping a consistent message, creating an emotional investment, being really, really ahead of the curve with technology, as far as, as Mike Eisenhart would say, going where the people are, and then keeping your message simple. So, keeping a consistent message is the easiest way to avoid that conflict. To actually, preach what you practice what you preach, however you want to say that phrasing, but keeping the message consistent. And it seems like getting a solid message and consistent message doesn't really matter. Some of you who are clinic owners may be thinking, well, people just seem to come through the door no matter what I do, so why does it really matter? And I think it's really important to know that people who find your business randomly are the lowest hanging fruit on the revenue tree, right? Like, that's not your target. The people who just happen to stumble their way to you are not the people we're actually trying to target. To actually have sustained growth month over month, year over year, we need a focused, consistent message, because we want to reach those people who are much harder to attain, the people who actually help propel the growth of your organization. And, with that, who are you trying to attract? Some of you may say, I'm trying to attract anybody with a pulse and a referral or prescription to physical therapy. And I think we talk here on a lot, those days are kind of dwindling down, right? With I hate talking about reimbursement and all those issues, but with declining reimbursement, pre-authorization, all the kind of clamping down going on, the notion of anybody being your potential customer, client, member, patient is kind of going away. You need to get a lot more focused. You need to find out who that person is and how you can reach them. And you need to do that by making it seem like it's a bad choice to not come get the benefits of whatever you're offering. And when I say benefits, I don't mean like an itemized laundry list of things, right? I mean like a really focused, deep connection of why someone can't live or function without your services. And so you see that a lot in other industries, right? So I've got my my Nanos here, right? My CrossFit shoes. Some of you may wear these, may know what they are. And so if I look at the list, I'll read here. If I look at the list of the features, the benefits of the Nano from the Reebok website, we have Kevlar fibers interweaved into a figure-8 form, 4-foot flex grooves, and a plush booty construction around the collar, right? I didn't buy that. I didn't buy these because of that. I bought these because, first of all, they look pretty dope, right? I think we can all agree that these are pretty fresh. And then I bought them because I think they'll make me a better CrossFitter. That's probably not true at all, but it certainly feels that way, right? There's an emotional connection between me and these shoes, and it has nothing to do with the Kevlar fiber interweave matrix, whatever the heck, right? It has to do with that emotional connection. And that's what we need to do with people, with our messaging, is get that emotional investment, that emotional benefit. So the thing I hear a lot that I really latch onto with patients is I hear more and more frequently when people come in for evaluation, they say, I was offered pills and surgery and injections, and I'd like to try something else first, right? And I think that's a message we can all grab on to, the preventative lifestyle medicine approach is something we can all, I think, agree on is a way for our messaging to go across physical therapy, right? Physical therapy can be a lifeboat in the sea of chronic disease if we do it right. So creating that emotional investment. Often, I practice in a rural setting, so often I hear, my cousin died of opioid overdose, or a closer family member died, my husband died. Like, I don't want to touch those at all. And I think that's something we can latch onto when we're looking to find who our target audience is and how to create that emotional buy-in. The third thing is technology. You got to be on top of technology. Incompetence somewhere is incompetence everywhere. Is your website up to date? Do you have a website? It's 2018. I hope you have a website. Is it optimized for mobile? If I look at it on my phone, is it just a disaster? If so, I'm probably going to be turned off. Do you have a Facebook page? Do you have an Instagram page? Do you have a Snapchat? Do you have a Twitter? Are you where the people are, which is, on their phone? And if you're not, you need to get there. Do you do text reminders for appointments? Can people pay their copay online, or do they have to bring you a check or cash? When I look at businesses to buy different things, not just looking at other physical therapy businesses, I look at those things, and if a company doesn't have a website, I mean, they're not getting my money. That's plain and simple. But if they don't have a Facebook, if they don't have an online portal for me to do stuff, then they're probably not getting my money, right? You have to stay ahead of that curve all the time. That's part of being a organizational leader. I think of, like, when I go to a gas station in a rural area that doesn't have a credit card machine and it's cash only, and I'm like, what is cash? It's 2018. Think of that across all aspects of your organization as far as staying ahead of the curve, and that further lets you propagate your message in an efficient way. You have to stay ahead of the curve in all of those aspects. And finally, the final point is to really keep it simple. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars a week on Facebook advertisements and flyers and mailers to be effective with your marketing if your message is really good. Think of how much more effective, like, a GPS guided missile is as far as collateral damage goes compared to, like, carpet bombing an area and hoping for the best, right? You want to be that GPS guided missile, not the carpet bomb. Stay really, really focused, and it may mean narrowing down your target audience, and that's okay. I think of Sarah and Beth out in Seattle at Aero PT. If you look at their website, it's sharp, it's simple. You can do everything online. You can pay your bill. You can do a telehealth consult. You can schedule an appointment online. And when you look at their profiles, I mean, it's very simple. Sarah is a prior dancer. She's a CrossFitter. And that's kind of who she treats. Beth, I think, used to play tennis. I'm reaching here. Also a CrossFitter, and that's who she treats. So a very focused message. Like, this is who we are, this is what we like, and this is kind of who we treat because of it. It's very focused. They're not looking for everyone. They're looking for you, the person that dances and does CrossFit, right? That's a very focused message. So, another great organization that is really hot on all of these aspects. Sorry, moving some stuff here so the sun stays out of my face. There we go. Okay, is CrossFit itself, and of course I'm biased, but the messaging is consistent, right? They have all these different products. They have a podcast. They have their journal. They have a blog. They have a website. They have social media. And the message coming from the top of CrossFit is that CrossFit can help prevent and manage chronic disease, and it's reflected consistently across all of those products, right? The CrossFit Journal has research about how CrossFit can help with diabetes and cholesterol. The CrossFit podcast always has guests on who are sharing their story about losing 200 pounds and getting off medication. The social media reflects that. CrossFit education with the CrossFit certification seminars, the L1 seminar, it has a huge emphasis on nutrition and how nutrition can help prevent and manage chronic disease, right? That message is consistent all the way through. There's no confusion about what they're about. It's emotional, right? You see, there was something on social media a few weeks ago about a CrossFit box that had on their sign, diabetes cure factory on their sign. Like, come in and get your diabetes cured. Like, we're not messing around here. We're not beating around the bush, right? That creates a huge emotional investment. Like, if you passed by that place and you think, oh shit, I have diabetes, maybe, can it be cured? My doctor said it couldn't be cured, but maybe I can go in there and see what those folks can do for me, right? Huge instantaneous emotional investment. And it's competent too, right? CrossFit media is everywhere you are, on your phone, website, social media, podcast. Do you like blogs? We got a blog. Do you like videos? We got videos. Do you like reading research? We got research. You like Facebook? We got a Facebook. They're everywhere, propagating that message that you want to be. And finally, it's simple, right? It helps prevent and manage chronic disease. High intensity, functional movements that are variable. That's it. The sport of fitness. It's pretty simple. Anybody can do it. Infinitely scalable. Very simple message that is consistent and emotional as well. And it creates unshakable loyalty, right? And that's what we're looking for as physical therapists. Is we want patients, members, clients, customers who have that unshakable loyalty. We want people to say, I'm a X physical therapy person, just like somebody says, oh, I'm a Marriott guy, or I'm a Ford girl. Like, I only buy Ford, I only stay at Marriott. Like, we want to create that same loyalty that those other companies have, and we do it by keeping this messaging consistent, simple, technologically competent, and really emotional. And finally, the last thing is that it always has to be refined, right? You should be taking those people who say, oh, I'm a Ford person, or I'm a Chevy person, and you should be saying, what attracted you initially to my product, to my business, to my clinic, and find out what it is that brought them in, because that's going to further help you refine your message and narrow it and be more efficient at propagating it. So that's it. So being loud and clear with your message, being simple, being emotional with it, narrowing your audience if necessary, keeping that message consistent, and then using technology to amplify that message very efficiently. Virtualize is open. Registration is open. It'll close on the 25th. If you're not in Virtualize, get in Virtualize. $29 a month. 24 CEUs if you stay the whole year. We're now doing weekly sessions starting up this next round. So every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, hour and a half, 2 hours if it's Justin Dunaway, talking about all sorts of different topics. Available after the live session if you can't attend the live ones. We have Total Spine Thrust next weekend in Pennsylvania, Scottsdale, Pennsylvania, June 23rd and 24th. I'll be at that one. A whole bunch of you guys are going to be there. We have 3 spots left. Going to have about 35 people there. It's going to be awesome. Hope you can join us. If you're on the fence, come join us. Live online courses, Clinical Manager of the Fitness Athlete Essentials starting June 25th. Advanced Concepts starting June 18th. Each of those only has 2 spots left. So again, if you're on the fence about joining, grab them up because they're going to be gone probably within the next week or so. And then you can catch Zach Long live out in Anaheim, California on June 30th through July 1st for Clinical Management of the Fitness Athlete Live. If you want to get more comfortable moving a barbell, working with people who do move barbells and do CrossFit style exercise, then that is the class for you. I highly recommend it. And then July 14th and 15th, we have 2 courses. Eric will be out in Las Vegas teaching extremity, and Justin will be teaching total spine thrust again, this time in Marietta, Georgia, which is right outside of Atlanta. So that's it. Make your message loud and clear, simple, emotional, consistent, and technologically competent. And if you have any questions, comments about this, email me, info@ice.physio. Have a wonderful Thursday and a good weekend, everybody. Bye.